Are you ready to move from an ordinary life to an extraordinary one where you meet your business goals, create a life that has success in health, wealth, and for self? Then come and join us for our retreat in Byron Bay, Australia at the end of July, start of August 2025, and come and rediscover who you really are. More details can be found at willowhealing.org.
Welcome to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We are so excited to have you joining us on this journey where we explore different ways to empower your soul, whether it's healing in your kitchen or all the way up in the corporate world. Come with us as we look into different ways to heal your mind, body, and soul. Hey everyone, it's Catherine from Willow Healing, and I have the very amazing Dr. Salas with us today. So he is a mind clearing doctor and is aiming to break the cycle of limiting beliefs to create vibrant health, harmonious relationships, and sought after prosperity. He is best known for helping lay people, coaches, and health professionals break the cycle of their limiting beliefs so they can achieve vibrant health, harmonious relationships, and sought after prosperity for themselves and their clients. He's the creator of the mind clearing, body clearing, and goal and success clearing systems. Dr. Salas is a #1 Amazon best-selling author, a chiropractic physician, and a body and mind expert. He has served more than 4,267 clients, and it continues to count as he transforms their lives in the US and Europe for more than 28 years. A big welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you very much, Catherine. Bonjour, everybody. As you may notice, I've got a slight accent, right? I was born and raised in south of France. So, yeah. Well, I'm very happy to be here.
Well, I guess that's the beauty of the world and connection with Zoom, right? That we can connect lots of people all around the world, and it doesn't matter where you've come from, you've all got a story to share. So I guess the biggest thing that comes to my mind when I was looking at your biography is, how did you fall into this need to create systems to really empower people in their lives?
Well, I think, if you want to start from the beginning, because um, I've been, I'm from France, like I told you, right? So I used to live in south of France, and I used to live on my boat and renting boat in south of France. So it's a little bit different from what I'm doing now, right? And so I'm one of the lucky one, Catherine, because I was blessed. I've been given my mission in life, right? And my mission in life, I saw myself helping people, right? So I did live on my boat for like 6, 7 years. And after I've got that revelation, so what I did, I sold my business and I sold my boat and came to the US to learn chiropractic. Why chiropractic? Because I guess it was the innate intelligence, our own ability to heal ourselves that was really attracting to me. And so I did graduate, after three years. And I had that big practice, right? I was seeing like 260 patients a week. I had 4 employees. I was living the American dream, right? I had like a big house, best neighborhood. I met a French woman in a bar in Kansas City, right? And I got married, and we've got a daughter. Her name is Maya, and she's now 20 years old, right? So everything was going right. I was living my passion, my dream, and everything went down the drain. That's what really happened after that. So because here's the problem, Catherine. I was like, I was like always busy with work, right?
Yeah.
It was in my head. It was always work, work, work. That's what I was doing. And the problem is like, I was so focused on that. And to be honest with you, I thought I was doing the right thing because I was helping people. I was making a difference, right? But here's the problem. When I was back home, coming back home, well, I was there, but I was not present, right? And I started to get overstressed and all that with all those, responsibility that I had. And I ended up, to make a long story short, I ended up divorced. Um,
Yep.
my practice went from thriving to failing.
Yep.
I got diagnosed with early colon cancer diagnosis, and I lived in my office. So I was thinking, I'm going to live in my office for a few years. I always have a gypsy and free spirit mind. So it was a beautiful office too. Don't get me wrong, right? I had everything. I put a shower in it. Ending up, Catherine, staying 3 years in this office. Three
Wow.
full years, Yeah. So that was a quite of an experience because can you imagine it just reshaped and I had to reinvent myself because I was treating people and helping people with what we call chemistry stress, right? The chemical stress. So basically their internal chemistry, how it's working and not working. And guess what? I was doing, of course, my program. I was doing following all the recommendation that I will give to my patient. And guess what happened? I end up with a second deadliest chronic disease that people experience in the US, which is cancer. So I have to rethink about everything. I have to rethink about my health. I have to rethink about my prosperity, right? Because I got so messed up in my head, right? That what happened is just, I was so stressed and I lost my clarity, and was unfocused. And so, of course, the practice went down the drain, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, my relationship, I had a daughter, so I had, to cope with the separation and all that, and all the stress that come with it. So that was challenging, but I've learned so much.
Yeah.
I've learned so much, and I have to. It's like what happened to me is like, rebirthing from the ashes, where I have to rethink everything in my life. And I wonder what's causing it. Why suddenly everything went down the drain, if you want. And so I wanted to find out what is that force that was, because I could blame on outside circumstances or whatever, but I knew I'd never been a victim. And I knew that that was not the problem was within me. And I had to uncover what was the problem and what was creating and make me what was creating all that stress and what make me self-sabotage my relationship and all that. So that's the journey of uncovering that and recreating a different family. I've got now an 8 years old boy, and obviously now I practice totally differently, and also um, healing from cancer.
Yeah.
And so that's the journey. So that's the journey that I want to describe, and that led me to really find in my book the holy grail of healing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can so resonate with so much of your story because I had this business that was so successful and, growing but then it was at detriment to me. It was at detriment to my life and my relationships and I didn't get to really spend any time with my family or quality time. And yes, I'm incredibly busy now, but it's doing things I'm passionate about and love. So I'm really happy and joyful. And then I can spread that in my family and actually consciously schedule a day off every week, which is just for me and my family, because that, like you said, that presence is so important and that connection. And if you're not willing to have those conversations and really, it's almost like we've subconsciously programmed that our business is our life, but it shouldn't be. Our business should be a reflection of our life rather than actually being the main driver.
Yeah, you basically, that's why I tell my patient, you cannot give what you don't have. So you need to have balance, right? That's what you bring to the table, right? And you need to be able to be balanced and be in peace and having an open heart just to be able to help your patient better, right? And so it's not about numbers and all you're doing and money and all that. It's really, like you said, to be present for the person because I value everybody that come to see me. It's the most important person because it really is, and you want to make a difference and be able to help that being as much and as deep as possible and as deep as they want to be, right? And so what happened is like basically I needed to find out. So since I was doing only chemical stress, I realized that, hey, now what I tell my patients is totally different. Either if I see them, I treat them online or they come to the office. What I told them is like when you come and sit and I see you as somebody who's got potentially physical stress,
Yeah.
chemical stress, right?
Yeah.
and also emotional and mental stress, right? So you have to see the whole person, right? And so and there's something that I learned that is so important, that it's so simple but so important. When you've got a problem, it can be any problem in life. It can be a relationship problem, it can be a health problem, it can be a prosperity problem, whatever problem. You need to have to know two things in order to resolve your problem. Number one, you need to find out what's causing your problem. Because if you don't know what's causing your problem, how can you help it, right?
Yeah.
That's what we see with drugs, because they never find, the MD don't find what's causing the problem, right? They address only the symptoms, so you cannot be healed totally, right? So that's number one. And number two, you need to know how to fix it, right? So I did created for the physical stress, for example, I did created my technique to help as best as I can to find out what's causing the stress and how to fix it. That's the technique creation. For the chemical stress, the same. And I was lacking the emotional stress. So I started to learn different technique, but I was never really pleased because why I was not pleased? Because it was not really the patient. I was not empowering enough the patient to heal herself or himself.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like so important. This is everything, right? Remember what attracted to me at the first place, chiropractic was important for me because the innate intelligence, our own ability to heal ourselves. And so this is really very important to me. And so I started to do things out of the blue while treating patients. And they would basically tell me, hey, Alan, don't stop. This is good. And so that's how I got my intuition. That's why I was basically be able to tap into the field and get all the information because we never really create or discover, we rediscover, right? That's what I
Yes.
think.
Agree.
And so 3 years later, yeah, you see what I mean? And 3 years later, the mind I created I discovered, I don't know if we can say that, but let's put it that way, the mind clearing was passed on to me.
Yeah.
And so I knew that this will be good, and I'm going to describe more and more, go into detail, is when I was able to treat pain
Yeah.
with a mind clearing because it was really a good thing because pain, although it's subjective, but it's there, it's not there, right? You cannot argue with the pain being not there. So it was really a good way to monitor the progress of my technique, to see, okay, now if I had this to the protocol, maybe this would work better. And sure it did. And so now I'm like super confident in a way that 90% of the time we can treat pain, whatever, how old the pain, it doesn't matter, in a couple of visits.
Yeah.
And this is gone.
Yeah.
And so why is it possible? Right? You see what I mean? That's where we tap into some. Also, one thing that I discovered, it's like when you've got your physical, right? You've got your chemical, you've got your emotional, your mental, and more of the energy is etheric, more of the energy is subtle, the closer you are to the cause
Yeah.
of the problem.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
100%, because that's exactly how I work too. So, and it's almost like you said, you rediscover these things that you've always intuitively known. And for me, it came through a breathwork journey. So I went on this breathwork journey and was re-gifted. I say re-gifted this information that was just dormant within me. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I fully understand the quantum realm. I don't know how that happened, but it magically did, and you just accept it and then you try it out and you realize it's working. And it's so beautiful how you said that you almost became really intuitive with that because you were seeing things and realized what you were given, the tools you had. Bits of it worked, but it wasn't a full process. And that's where you went within to create that new protocol that works for your client, for your patients, and for you.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned the word intuition because for me, intuition, if I have to choose between intuition and logic, I will always choose intuition.
Same.
Right? And why? Because intuition comes from the subconscious mind.
Yeah.
Logic, that's the analytical brain, which is more about the conscious mind, which, I'm going to introduce the difference between conscious mind and subconscious mind. And your audience going to be able, and you probably know, but your audience going to be able to see that we have no clue truly who we are. And we sell ourselves so short. We are so powerful. It's unbelievable how powerful we are.
Agreed.
Let me explain why I'm saying that, right? So it's like we live in two separate worlds. We live in the inner world and the outer world. What do I mean by that? Well, the outer world is basically what we call the conscious mind. So, what is your conscious mind? It's basically your self identity, who you think you are, what you think it's possible or not, and your reality, how you perceive your reality. That's basically your conscious mind, right? And after you've got your subconscious mind, which you're not aware of what's going on there, right? And that's where your skills are. And just to give you an idea how powerful the subconscious mind, your conscious mind processes data at 11 bits per second. Your subconscious mind processes data at 11 million bits per second. So it means like from age 0 to now, all what you have been doing is recorded in your subconscious mind.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy? Now, here's the thing. Now, what is the ratio between conscious mind and subconscious mind? Well, it depends who you read, but this is the range. Conscious mind, so remember, it's who you think you are, right? 5 to 10% of your mind.
Yeah.
Subconscious mind, 90 to 95% of your mind. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
That's mind blowing.
Yeah.
And yes, and yet we focus only on what? On the conscious mind, right? So, what do you want? You want to be able to help 100% of your being, or you want to be able to help only 5 or 10% of your being?
Yeah.
I mean,
And also,
pretty obvious.
yeah, and there's so much like research now coming up to back up intuition, and that it actually has a stronger impact because the Heart Math Institute, I love seeing what they come out with, because they're doing all the research now to back up what we've all intuitively known, that our intuition is actually a stronger sense to follow. And people talk about gut instincts, and yes, they're important, but they're also from a place of keeping you safe. It's your heart and your heart instincts and your intuition, which that true subconscious programming can come through, and where you can shine your light from.
Yeah, and I will talk about what I call the three edge, which is the head, the heart, and the hara, which in Japanese means belly, right?
Yep.
And how, I just redefine basically a philosophy, right? How we make decisions and how those decisions can be right. So now, the most important things, so is just how can we have access to the subconscious mind? So we know that we've got intuition, right? We can have intuition. To me, it's basically I know that I know.
Yep.
There's no doubt in my mind. It's very different from a fear reaction or impulses. It's very different because intuition, you've got that stability of knowing, you've got that peace of knowing, and there's no doubt. It's just very serene, right? Impulses, it's like you need to take action and you're in a hurry and it's not the same place. So that's how you can differentiate. And fear, obviously, it just comes from an anxiety and from some place that are rather negative. And intuition, for me, there's no doubt, there's no discussion. You just know that you know,
Yep.
right? And so also, how can we have access, some glimpse about our subconscious mind? Dreaming. When you remember a dream, what do you remember of a dream, right? You remember a picture. And this is very important when we're going to talk and we're going to dive more into the mind clearing, right?
Yeah.
So we've got access, but can we find like a technology that can allow us to communicate with the subconscious mind all the time? Imagine the impact of our being, how we can transform ourselves, how we can grow, and how we can heal when we can tap and unleash the formidable power of the subconscious mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's decode the mind. So that's the first step, right?
Yep.
That's the first step. So now, where is the problem? Well, like we said, just Google it, right? 80% of our mind is negative, according to Mr. Google, right? 80 for the average person, 80% of our thoughts are negative.
Yep.
95% of our thoughts are repetitive and they are replicating the same scenario than the day before. We experience, depends who you're reading, 40 to 60,000 for a day. So all our energy and what we've been taught, we are stuck in our head, right? We have way too much in our head. because we want to resolve problem, right?
Yep.
Resolve problem meaning that there's a problem. How can we be positive, right? You just have to think about the problem. So all our energy is going into our head, right? And that's why lots of people overthink. That's why we get so anxious, if we cannot resolve a problem. Because guess what, Catherine? When you resolve a problem, there's another problem to be resolved, and so on and so on. It's a never-ending story. So that's the problem. We are way too much in our heads.
Yeah, and it's so funny because this is coming up this week with my clients and things like that, and I was like, just let it be. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, when you're not putting your attention to that problem, the solution will just come to you because you're not putting your energy in, and you can step out of it and actually see and get it, like you said, get out of that negative talk happening in your brain where it's, I'm never going to fix this. I don't know how to change it, and get out of that mindset and just put it down. And it's often then you'll be in the shower and go, oh, I've got the solution now.
Yeah, because we are caught up on our negative thinking, we caught up with our emotion,
Yeah.
and we caught up on our behavior. And so it's hard to be able to distance ourselves from whatever problem we want to resolve,
Yeah.
right? And so it's very important to do that. So and what that there's some programming, that mind can be programmed, that subconscious mind can be programmed. So there's two kind of programming. So if you allow me, I just wanted to describe that.
Please
So
do.
I'm going to take an example. Okay, thank you. So I'm going to take an example. Let's pretend there's a little girl that see her dad that is a drunk coming back every night and beat up the mom.
Yeah.
So now, what do you think that little girl, when she grows up and have what kind of romantic relationship she's going to attract?
The same one.
An abusive
Yeah.
relationship, right? Exactly. So, how come? Because if you ask that woman and you say, hey, do you want to be beat up like your mom? What she's going to say? She's going to say, heck no, right? But the mind has been programmed. The mind has been programmed as men are predator and women are prey. So that program behind the scene that we're not totally aware of is going to make her, because how she's going to attract that man? She's going to say, hey, she's going to meet a man and shake the hand and say, hey, do you want to beat me up? Do you want to play with me and beat me up? I don't think so. So we are all connected via our subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind can say, hey, this guy is going to tango with you. He's going to dance with you. And maybe this guy has been bullied and now he's a bully, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and he's going to go after that woman and they're all going to play a part into that subconscious role of predator. They're going to have that dance of prey and predator. Right? So for that woman, there's basically three different case scenarios that can happen to her. Number one, let's pretend she got married with a guy and gets stuck with that guy, that abusive guy, for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. I've seen that. Number two, she can have that person, and after, maybe a kid or two along the way, and after find another person, and through life experiences, learn from it. And usually the way they learn from it, most of the time, women are telling me, oh, I'm done with men. They don't work for me. They're not right. I cannot. It's always the same story. Yes, it's always the same story because it's the same programming.
Yeah. Yeah.
And case number three, what they can go to a therapist that work with maybe hypnotherapist, right? That can tap into the subconscious mind, or maybe person like you, I'm sure, or person like me that can deprogram that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And like that, there's no more program. She's healed. And you know how you know that you totally healed? When you attract the opposite. Instead of something that is abusive, she's gonna have somebody that is very understanding, that is the equal. And there's no power relationship, right? It's all more based on love and not on, power trip and things like that.
Yeah, and it's often funny because as an outlier, we can often help people see that program and story that they're stuck in, because people often when you're in it, it's really hard to see where it is. It's only when someone points it out that they go, oh, shit. you know?
But sometimes also they are also caught up in the victim mode, right? So when you
Correct.
tell them, you say, "Do you mean that I did that to myself? You crazy,
Yep.
right?" But it's not their fault. That's
No.
why I told them always, "That's not your fault."
Nope.
You know that those programs behind the scene that are actually shaping your present and molding your future. You stuck in the past. Your trauma has made you stuck in the past. And talking about the past, let's introduce the second way that we can get limiting belief programming, right? But it's called PTSD, right? Or
Yep.
any fear or phobia in the matter. So PTSD. Let me give you an example, Catherine. So let's pretend I'm military. I'm going to Iraq, and I pull my gun and push the trigger and kill my best friend. Collateral damage. Came back to the US, I'm a mess, like Rambo style. Remember this movie about Rambo? I don't know if you watch them, but he just wake up suddenly, he's got a nightmare, and he's got that memory of being tortured, by the Viet Cong or whatever, right? And so what happened? It's like I call that the past you. It means a piece of your soul is still pulling that trigger. A piece of my soul is still pulling my trigger. And what we need to bring that past you to the present.
Yep.
And the trauma is gone, the past memory is gone. So the problem is our past,
Yeah.
right? And also we are more susceptible to be programmed, like from the age, let's pretend 0 to 8 years old, because we are sponges. So everything that we see, we just get it and go into the programming, and just it's so much more damageable, if you want. It just creates so much stronger program at this age,
Yeah.
right? If I've been told, for example, by my dad, I'm a loser, I'm gonna believe that. Actually, matter of fact, imagine a triangle,
Yep.
and inside the triangle you've got the limiting belief, right? So on top of a triangle, you've got thoughts, negative thoughts. And after, on the right corner of the triangle, you've got overwhelming emotion. And on the left side of the triangle, you've got undesirable behavior and action. So how does it work? Let's pretend the limiting belief is I'm a loser. So I'm going to think I'm a loser. I'm going to feel like a loser. I'm going to behave like a loser. So I'm going to have a loser outcome. And after, I'm going to say, I told you I was a loser, right? So that's going to reinforce the emotion that I'm a loser.
Yep.
I'm going to think more than I'm a loser. And that limiting belief is going to be reinforced. So I call that the subconscious stress loop. We caught up on that. So what we want to do, there's 3 steps in the mind clearing process. So step number 1, you want to delete the limiting programming, right? You want to delete that past memory. Number 2, you want to download an empowering belief, what you want basically. So you
Yeah.
want to get rid of what you don't want. You want to download, you want to delete what you don't want, you want to download what you want, and after you can create your different reality, you can create your dream life. So those are the 3 steps of mind clearing. So now how can we do that, right? Remember what we talk about? We say that dreams or nightmare or whatever, it's like how the subconscious mind works, right? A picture is literally worth 1,000 words because there's so much symbolism into that picture. So I will tell the patient, I will tell Catherine, okay, Catherine's got neck pain, right?
Yep.
And so I will tell her, hey, visualize that negative picture, right? You having your worst pain ever in your neck, right? That's your limiting belief. So we don't need to know what limiting belief specifically it is, how the program has been made. It's useless. We don't need to know. It's that picture that represent with all the symbolism, that represent that limiting belief that we want to delete or erase. And after I will say, hey, you know what? Now visualize what you would like instead, the ideal case scenario for you. And so maybe you can tell me, oh, I'm walking on the beach and all that. And so the beach is the symbolism for you, whatever it is. It's different
Yeah.
for me than for you, right? You see what it represents. And so, and we definitely make a specific download to you, and it's an hour treatment. And after we can create the pain goes away and all that, right? And so that's how it works. It's very simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. And the beauty, you are the one creating the picture. I'm not the one. I'm not doing any muscle testing, telling you, oh, you've got this kind of emotion, blah blah blah. No, is you really healing yourself that show you how powerful you are.
Yeah.
Because given the right technology, you can get rid of your pain. You can get rid of any symptom. You can get rid of anger, whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. So that's why I'm telling you, we are so powerful. And more I do that work, and more I realize how powerful we are. It's just amazing.
Well, I guess a lot of people don't realize too that we're actually infinite beings, and and people get stuck in making decisions because they're so scared about making them. And I just say, just make it. And the best thing I heard was a decision's just a decision. You just make another decision after that first decision and you keep going, rather than getting stuck in that loop and those, those stories and getting stuck in that negative mindset. And like you said, creating that new vision of what you want and deleting that original program will help you get there. And the more you then step into that new vision for your life, the more your subconscious is going to start reprogramming your conscious brain, and you're going to start looking for the positive things rather than I'm a loser. Yeah.
Exactly. And so what happened, the way I see it, if you want to zoom out and look at the big picture, right? So we've got the sun, and the sun will represent your divine self, right? God, awareness, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter, whatever your belief system is. And after you've got, you know, a ray of sun, which is your spirit, right? And it's still on non duality, right? It's all there is. And after you've got clouds, and all the clouds are your limiting belief. So if you've got like it's so cloudy, or some people it's so cloudy, they cannot even comprehend that there's a sun. They cannot even be connected to their higher self, right? And so what we do when we delete the limiting belief and replace them with empowering one, we declouding the sun, and suddenly you can feel the warmth of the sun. You can see the light of the sun. You can feel the connection with your higher self and your spirit. And more we get rid of the cloudy sky, more we stay connected. And when we are connected with who we truly are, which is not our conscious mind, which is our spirit,
Yeah.
and more we're connected with our spirit, of course, more our thoughts going to be positive, more our emotions going to be supportive, more our action and behavior is going to be desirable,
Yeah.
and that's really the way it's happening.
And that's when you want to get up bright and early before the sun even comes up, because you have so much to do and you're so excited about your life that you just want to live it rather than going through the monotonous, oh, this is what I'm expected to do, or this is what I'm programmed to do, or this is what I believe that I'm limited to do.
And on top of that, you're more living in the present because all that past that is haunting you with limiting belief is fading away.
Yeah.
So you are much more living in the present, right? Which is the ultimate gift that we can give to ourselves, for sure.
Yeah, I remember someone saying that when you're in the present, you can't feel worry because you're not projecting into the future and concerned, and you can't be regretful because you're not living in the past and have that fear coming through as well. So when you're fully present, you can be your full self because you're not letting the future or the past, influence you. You're currently living that moment right here, right now.
I had one time that experience in my life. I don't know how it lasted actually, but not a long time, my guess. And there was like, it's the best way I can describe is like a brainwash without a, without a brainwash. It's like there's no thinking. There's no, I don't know. It's really hard to explain that. But it just, I don't know to explain that.
I feel it's like we get so conditioned that we have to be,
like be like our family or be what society dictates us to be, that we forget that even if that doesn't align with us, that we have a choice and that we always have a choice and we can be the change that we want to be. We just have to believe in ourselves first. And like you said, find the problem that's triggering all those beliefs that are stopping you from being your full potential. And then you're able to go do whatever you want and create the life you want and visualize whatever you want.
Exactly, and that's the key, because those limiting belief, if you go from you've got point A and B, and there's you want to go to point B, right? And there's limiting belief, you're not going to be able to access it, unfortunately,
No.
right? And that's a problem. That's why those programs are running, and we need to get rid of them. And one thing I will have to to add to that, when if you want to get the zoom out and get the bigger picture, it's like basically, remember, we said that we are too much in our head, right? So what happened when you, why? Because, I mean, in a way also, our heart is closed up, is
Yeah.
shut down, right? Because of the trauma, the negative experience, and the challenges, right? And so all the energy go to the head. So when you started to decloud your sky, what's happening? Your mind start to open up. So you've got more than an open mind, which means that if you've got a challenge that you want to resolve, instead of seeing one possibility, now you open up to much more possibility. So there's less in, so you've got more peace of mind. So when you've got more peace of mind, guess what? There's more energy that can go to your heart. And since you're getting rid of those, deleting those limiting beliefs, your heart is less and the trauma is less under stress. So it starts to open up too, like a flower,
Yeah.
right? And now you can feel more, you can express more your feeling. You've got a more open heart, right? And after when you got that, what's happening, your will, you've got more what I call the open will. Now you can take more action, but they are more fluid. It's not a, oh, I have to do that. It's just
You just do it.
everything is aligned. Everything is aligned. When your thought, emotion, and behavior and action are aligned, this is it. You are in the present. So now, remember, we say, oh, we are more open mind, right?
Yes.
So there's more possibilities, right?
Yep.
So how are we going to choose the right possibilities? You follow your heart. The heart is the key. You mentioned, what is it, heart math.
Yep.
Heart math, they talk about that alignment between the head and the heart. I'm saying there's the head, the heart, and the hara. Because we need to manifest things into this world. Because if you are stuck in the head and the heart, this is called the law of attraction. To me, it's like a fantasy. Oh, that's nice, we're good, we feel better. But in order to experience things in our life, which experience to me is true knowledge, you need to manifest in that world.
Yeah.
So that's why it's very important to have the guts to do it,
Yeah.
right? You
Courage.
see what I mean?
Yep. Courage.
You
Exactly.
have to have the guts to do it, and you also have a gut feeling. So what do I mean by that? I mean, the mind is more masculine, right? Peace of mind. Peace is a masculine trait. The the heart, obviously, is more feminine, right? By the way, it's the femininity, our femininity, that will be the decision maker because the heart is at the center.
Yeah.
That's the heart is at the present, right? And after, so masculinity for the head, femininity for the heart. And when you conceive something, you have to have masculinity and femininity. That's how you got a baby in your belly, right?
Yeah.
You've got the sperm and the ovum that make the baby. So that's really the masculine and femininity need to be manifested too in your life, and that's the law manifestation basically. And so this is it. When this is all aligned, you're gonna manifest what you want or what you were designed to be and to do. So if you want, the mind is more the how we do things. The heart is your intention, is why are you doing this? And your gut, it's what you're doing. basically,
Yeah.
right? What are you doing? What are you manifesting?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a
that's
beautiful
it.
summary. And I love that you've just tied it all together because it really does come back to your heart and leading the way with your heart and then letting everything else catch up and having the courage to move through and do it and be brave because your fear is always there. Your fear is trying to keep you safe. It just doesn't know any different. There's a difference between fear as in if I do that, I'm going to die, like literally die, versus oh, if I do that, it's something new and I'm not sure what it is. I liken it to a roller coaster. You know the dip's coming, but you're still scared and excited at the same time.
I totally agree. And fear, what are their limiting belief?
Yeah,
That's it. It's just a
exactly.
program running you. That's
Exactly.
it. It's fake. It's not who you are. It shouldn't define you, right?
100%.
That's all it is. So when you understand, you say, okay, what is the fear? Okay, let's visualize that fear. Let's deprogram it and replace it by an empowered belief. And after what I'm going to create with this and move on. That's it. After you understand that it's so simple, it's not a big deal. You don't have, because, when we've got mental issue, what we're being told, oh, you're going to see therapist, right? So you're going to do talk therapy. Well, talk therapy, you have to talk about your story, right? Okay, what do you use? Your conscious mind.
Yeah.
So it's going to help you potentially 5 or 10% of your mind. Actually, I will even argue it can make you worse, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to rethink and relive that trauma again and
Stay in the
again. It's
stress.
going to make you rethink and re-trigger it.
Yeah.
So that's why it doesn't work, and it will never work like it will have never had the power of when you are able to tap into the subconscious mind and release at that level. Never. Cannot even touch it. I mean, it's just ridiculous when you think about it. I'm sorry, I had to say it.
I agree. I always feel that, I met this amazing psychologist once, and the only reason why I felt I'm not putting down the profession, but why I felt she was so amazing is because she actually went deeper than just the talking. She went into the emotions, she went to the trigger, she went to the problem, and all her clients always had amazing results. And I said, because she didn't just scratch the surface, and like you said, when you keep talking about it, you keep reliving the trauma too. So, as we finish up our time together, I always ask my guests, Elaine, who, if they could change one thing in the world or heal something, what would it be?
Ourselves. This is it. Because if you want to change the world, you have to change yourself first. And that's where, this is our responsibility because we're all connected. And so when I heal myself or help over or guide over to heal themselves, that's we are healing the entire planet. Meaning that we cannot heal only by ourselves. It's not possible.
Correct.
We have to have the entire human being race healed.
Yeah.
And right now, I believe we're in turning point, because they want us to mix with technology, which, the problem, we're going to be disconnected from our true nature and we're going to lose our humanity. And so I think we're in a crossroad now. And that's why I think the mind clearing came out because this needs to be, we need to be even more connected than we are. We need to transform and heal and grow much more now. It's the time. Is the time now. It's an urgency, I will say, to do that. And so, yeah, having in mind that when you help yourself, you help all the humanity,
Great.
right?
Yeah.
And so, and also that you cannot heal yourself by yourself only, like a selfish person.
Yeah, we always,
Again.
yeah, but we are selfish to the point that we want to selfishly heal ourselves, but then the impact that that has becomes bigger than what ours is. And then truly, when we're okay with ourselves and loves ourselves wholly, then we can serve humanity and be that bigger part that we all feel pulled to be and create that support and those networks that we need. And like you said, keep that humanity and connection there rather than detaching ourselves and getting lost in phones and technology.
I agree, but when I was like everything went down the drain in my life, what really helped me just to know deep inside, like intuitively, if I may say, but not only I will help myself, but I will help my patients,
Yeah.
because I will. discover that. So that was really something that really helped me, encouraged me to persist, and just to allow that healing to go as deep as possible.
Yeah. Beautiful. And I love how your story of your life evolved to, from I have everything I want. Oh no, I've lost everything. Hang on, maybe that wasn't what I wanted. Because it's so.
And again, everything.
Yeah, exactly. So, I will leave if anyone wants to contact Alain. I will leave in the show notes his contact details, including his website, his YouTube, and all the ways that you can connect with him. So, a big thank you for being on the show, and it was very inspiring. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And one thing I want to add, because to thank your listeners, if you go to themindclearing.com and you click on contact and you mention your show, you will have a 50% discount on the entire mind clearing system.
Wow.
And if you want to experience the mind clearing, I will give you 20% off, right? Because for me, true knowledge is about experiencing. We can talk about lots of things, but when you experience something, you really know. And you are a blessing. You're such a sweetie. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you so much for that generous gift. I'll make sure to mention that in the show notes too. So thank you so much. Thank you for listening to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We have so much love and gratitude that you have taken the time out of your day to empower you on your healing journey. The views shared by the person being interviewed might not necessarily reflect that of the host and should be used at your own discernment. Trust what resonates for you and follow your heart and soul guidance. If you have any underlying medical conditions or mental health issues, please consult with your healthcare provider before pursuing any of the recommendations. Likewise, you can always contact the person being interviewed to find out more information. This can be found in the show notes. Remember to activate, align, heal, empower, and find love in everything that you do.